My name is Melanie Salazar. I am 23 years old. I just graduated from UTSA, and right now I'm working in a nonprofit to teach young people how to help young expectant mothers. And I have a dog named Manolo, who I love very much. And I also have a boyfriend who I love very much named Jerry. I discovered fertility awareness by attending the Natural Womanhood Gala, I think about 3 years ago now. And I was so excited to attend, and I was just so floored with all the information that was never taught to me as a young girl. And I really took it upon myself to want to learn and implement it in my own life. I didn't have concerns that I knew of at the time. I later discovered concerns through practicing fertility awareness. But at the time, I wanted to learn fertility awareness simply to just be healthy and know and love my body. In our culture, there's maybe a lot of stigma around having a period, and we don't talk about just the female cycle. And I really wanted to kind of overcome those barriers within my own life and then hopefully be an example for other people. So I wanted to learn fertility awareness and continue to just be healthy, and hopefully later on when I'm married, then use that information to plan a family. I think as girls, a lot of us share similar experiences that we were taught one day you're gonna have a period, you need to use pads, and that's kind of it. You have the capacity to become pregnant, so just be aware of that. And that's kind of the talk. And I just remember so many girls, even to this day, we hide our pads and tampons on the way to the restroom, and we keep it hush hush and we whisper, and we're just so ashamed or I don't know, weirded out to share. I'm on my period right now, so I don't feel like going out. I don't really want to do XYZ. I don't feel up to giving that presentation. I don't know. We just don't talk about those things. And I think it's because of just that stigma of, I don't know, maybe we're dirty, or I don't know, blood is gross. And so we just don't talk about those things. And so I remember like in my own life, my mother teaching me about my period while whispering to me. I remember one time in the grocery store just holding my pads because I needed to purchase pads as every girl does. And I remember a male family member said to me, like, why aren't you hiding that? Like, you should be ashamed that you're showing that. And I always remember that. And again, too, I was that girl that hid my tampon or my pad in my sleeve. And that's one of the oldest tricks in the book that every girl does. And I just feel like we shouldn't have to hide that. We shouldn't have to be ashamed of purchasing things at the grocery store. And so I just have that in me, that shouldn't be the reality. And I think a way to overcome that stigma is by teaching girls the beauty of why we have a cycle, why the period is good, why it's important, and why we shouldn't shut that down with artificial chemicals. I had weird experiences not knowing what my cervical mucus was, and so many girls relate. We don't know what it is. We think we're dirty. I remember as a young girl, I would like clean my underwear, fearful that my parents would see that in the laundry. I didn't know what it was. And now I know this is so beautiful. And to get to see images under a microscope, it's almost so, I don't know, magical or artistic. And I think it's amazing that my body can do that. When I was a teenager and a young adult, I struggled heavily with acne, and I sought out help from a dermatologist, and the dermatologist wanted to put me on a medication that had a lot of symptoms, and it potentially could have side effects of birth defects if a woman becomes pregnant while on that medicine. And she wanted me to get on birth control. And I insisted that I'm not sexually active. I have no need for that. And it was a constant, not really battle, but having to reaffirm every visit, I am abstinent. I do not need that. And I'm glad that this is before I even knew and really understood all the harms of birth control. I'm just glad that I knew I just don't need that in my life. And I'm glad I rejected that. Now knowing all the potential side effects that come along with artificial contraception, I'm so glad even more I kept that out of my body. Learning to chart for me was fun and exciting, and it had been something I was wanting to do for a while. So I was so excited to finally get my hands on the chart and the stickers and to get to start implementing it in my real life. So it was definitely a learning curve, as with everything that's new. But I love that now it's habit. And I tell my other female friends, once you learn how to chart and you're looking out for these biomarkers, it becomes habit. And it's the same thing of how you remember to brush your teeth. You remember to change and take out your pad or tampon. You don't think about it now. And so similarly with learning a method of fertility awareness, it can become habit like that it's a part of your daily life and you don't have to really think about it. When I first started searching for a fertility instructor, I started with the Natural Womanhood website actually, and I found a quiz that you can take to figure out what is the best method for you and your state of life and what your abilities are. And so I was able to find the fertility care practitioner in my city who I already knew. And so it was great because I was able to message her and ask if she'd be willing to start instructing me. So every day, in order to chart, I look out for my biomarkers. And so a woman will learn these instructions when learning her chosen method. And so every day when I go to the restroom, there are actions that I do, wipe both before and after. And I remember to make note of that. And I have a helpful app in my phone I like to input. And then I have my physical chart that I'll make a physical notation of in the chart. So it's not hard at all, and it becomes habit over time. Charting has helped me by allowing me to get to the root problem of some hormonal imbalances that I was having. And I wouldn't have realized these imbalances had it not been for charting. I was having some brown bleeding at the end of my period every cycle, and I was also having pretty short cycles, about 22 days, which a healthy woman ideally is about, I hear about maybe 28, 35 days, and I was nowhere near that. In addition to those signs, every cycle around my period, I was having insomnia. I would feel like vomiting. I was having very painful cramps. And all my menstruating life, I thought this was normal. I didn't know this is not how a period, a cyclical experience should be. And so through the help of my fertility practitioner who was teaching me the method, looking at my charts, she was able to listen to me about my symptoms and see these physical signs in the chart and make a connection and tell me maybe this is something to look into with a fertility specialist doctor. So I did go to a doctor and he prescribed me progesterone to help supplement that low progesterone I was having. And let me tell you, my life has gotten so much better. I feel like I'm not that irritable person I was during that premenstrual time. I can sleep better. My cycles are longer. Now my cycles are about 28, 30 days, which is so heavenly, let me tell you, to have more time before starting another period. And I just feel like it has changed my life so much in those ways. And another way that I realize that it has helped me, and I'm thankful for now that I'm a young woman, is I make the connection with my family's history. And my family, I think specifically on my mother's side, has a history of miscarriage. And I now make the connection that I think there may be a history of low progesterone in my family that was just never caught and never known about. So I'm thankful that as a young woman, as an unmarried woman, I discovered this now. And that not only is the progesterone supplement helping me just with my cyclical symptoms and my everyday life, but I know with confidence that I'm doing everything I can to support a new life when I'm in that stage, when I am married. And so those are the ways how fertility awareness has helped my life. And I could cry because I'm so happy. I didn't know what I was experiencing shouldn't be the ideal cycle. And in fact, to add, this past period I just had was practically painless. And I had never before experienced that. And so I'm just so thankful. And I really hope, I wish, my prayer is that more women will discover the truth about their bodies and will seek real healing. And that can be done by learning your body, by tracking your fertility, knowing your biomarkers, and then seeing if something's off, to take that to a professional doctor who can help you find real healing. There is a history in my family of having miscarriage. And now that I'm older and I understand the hormones of the female body and what's necessary to create new life, I think that possibly there is a connection and a lineage of having low progesterone. And so I'm thankful now that as a young woman, as a single woman, long before I'm married, I mean, who knows, but that I can take the proper actions necessary so that hopefully I don't have a miscarriage. And that when I have a family one day, God willing, that I can then help the future daughters to continue to break that cycle of miscarriage in my family. Charting has also helped me just to know why I'm feeling the way I'm feeling, that hormones do play a part in why I'm a little more irritable right now, or why I'm ready to rule the world and get out there and travel and make all the plans. And so I'm thankful that with that knowledge, I can use that to my advantage. And I can say, now's the time to go out and go dancing, or now's the time to just stay in and have a movie night. And so I'm thankful that I have that knowledge and I can make those informed choices by living cyclically. The way how I try to cycle sync my life is by knowing sometimes I need more rest. Sometimes I can stay out a little later. Sometimes I may not want to go dancing and go bike riding. I could just do some stretches at home, and that's okay. I think a lot of girls are just living with the mindset of we have to be go, go, go all the time. So much food advertisements, diet regimens, workout regimens are with that mindset of go, go, go nonstop. And so I'm glad that I now understand this, and I can be an example for my friends and say, hey, you don't have to be go, go, go all the time. And that's okay. In fact, your body doesn't want that. My favorite part about FAM is learning about the beauty of my cervical mucus. I think that there's such a, stigma, a grossness around even just that word. But now I feel like, ladies, we need to be saying it loud and proud. It is so beautiful. I think it's so amazing that our bodies have the capacity to create this. And then that fluid is almost like the fluid that can create life with egg and sperm. And I'm just so thankful to understand this. It's not gross. It's not dirty. It's not a germ, and it's what our bodies need. What I would like to tell other girls my age is that hormonal contraception is not the answer. It's not healing you. It's not truly helping. Really, women deserve better than birth control. And the birth control industry isn't doing women justice. It artificially sterilizes our bodies, essentially. It completely suppresses our hormones, and our hormones are good. Our hormones help us to be healthy and help us to truly feel feminine, like women. And so I really want women to know, please ditch the birth control and instead learn your biomarkers, learn the beauty of your fertility, just to be a healthy woman. And then when you're ready, you can use that information to actually plan a family. So that's really what I want every girl to know in the world. I think natural womanhood is such a great resource for women and for anyone who wants to learn about the beauty of the female cycle. And really, I don't think there's any other resource like it that exists. It's so great that we have this landing page almost where you can come and you can learn about so many different topics. And then when you're ready, you can easily try to find a fertility instructor in your area.